Hi everyone, welcome to the 18th Annual Tallgrass Film Festival. We want to thank our sponsors and anyone who's joining us. If you're enjoying yourself, let everyone know on Facebook and Instagram and tag us at Tallgrass Film, that's at Tallgrass Film, and hashtag Tallgrass 2020. I want to take a moment to welcome our special guest, Irina Silic. Did I say it right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, great. It's a beautiful name. And Irina is the director of The Earth is Blue as an Orange, which is an incredible and beautiful, breathtaking film that we're really excited to do a Q&A with today. So just so everyone knows, Irina is the director, but she's a filmmaker and also a writer and of several books and short fiction and documentary films. But this film is her debut documentary feature-length film. And we're so excited to speak with you today.
Hi there, it's so nice to see you. You are so far from me because I'm now in my rainy Kiev and I miss the US so much, but unfortunately this year is so weird.
It's
so
so
I have
weird.
only this chance. Yeah, but anyway, I have a chance to say you hi.
And I understand Sundance was your first time to visit the US, is that right?
Yeah, that was my first time. And then in 1 week, we also visited New York, and that was my big love.
Aww.
I mean, I fell in love with the US, and that's a pity that now it's so difficult to travel.
Yeah.
But anyway, my film is more lucky than me because it travels around the globe.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I'd love to hear more about how the film started and how did you meet Miroslava and the family?
Mm-hmm. Everything has started from the idea of our producer, Anna Kapustina. She was one of the leaders of a very cool project which is called the Yellow Bus. It consists of different professional Ukrainian filmmakers who arrange cinema camps for children in the war zone. So she considered to shoot the full-length documentary about different teens. And actually that was our first idea, and we were trying to find different interesting characters and to do something like group portrait. But then when I met Miroslava and Nastya, these two sisters who were the participants of one of that camps, they invited me and my team to their hometown, to their family. And when we met their mother and siblings and all that cats and everything, we immediately realized that maybe we will change the idea and we will shoot only this family.
Wow, that's so incredible. And it sounds like they were just completely warm and welcoming to you from the beginning.
Yeah, they were really open because first of all, they knew something about the process of shootings, and they were so happy to become the part of documentary film. But actually later I felt that sometimes they felt bored and tired because they were not so ready to the idea that we will come again and again during the year, and we were living together with them in their house. But at the end of the day, we became friends, and actually that was a long but very fruitful journey.
And over how long of a period of time did you film them?
We filmed them during 1 year, and also we had 1 year of post-production, so it was something like 2.5 years generally.
And what were the ages of all the different family members when you were filming with them?
Sorry, can you repeat, please?
What was the age of the filmmaker, the family?
The age of all the members of the family? The mother was 36, and actually she's the same age as me, but I'm really adore her. I don't know, she's so brave to have 4 children and even 5 now because
wow.
Yeah, she became the mother for the fifth time because I have only one son, and it's really difficult to imagine how she arranged. I mean, it's really, she lives in that war zone with all the children, and anyway, everything on her shoulders, but they are so, I don't know, full of life, all this family. And as to her children, Miroslava was 17, Nastya was 15, and the boys were 9 and 6.
Wow. And can you share what they're all doing now? You mentioned Hannah has another child, so there's a fifth member of the children.
That was a big surprise for all of us, and she became the mother when we already finished the film. And it seems that we could make the series about this family because they have so many surprises all the time. And actually, they feel quite good now because Miroslava is in Kiev and she studies for cinematographer. Anna is there with her children, and Nastya, she won the chance to study in the US, and we were so happy for her. But unfortunately, this pandemic, I don't know, rules have changed something. So she's waiting for this trip. But anyway, it was so cool that she had this chance.
Is she trying to study a certain subject?
No, I don't remember actually. There is some program for students in the US, but I'm not really sure that I can explain what does she do there. But I'm not sure. But anyway, it's something cool for her.
That's so awesome. I know that everyone in the audience is just wondering what they're up to now. So that's really great to hear those updates. Can you share about one of the biggest challenges, what one of the biggest challenges was in making the film?
You know, I'm the beginner in documentary filmmaking, so I had plenty of challenges on every step because I did all the things intuitively, and I've never studied for a documentary filmmaker. But probably the biggest challenge was this huge feeling sense of responsibility, because when you are shooting real people, it's really scary because you want to do all the best for them, but at the same time you try to make your movie, and sometimes you should decide what to do. And how to say, for example, it was one situation when we had not the conflict, but something like that, because I wanted to shoot the exams when Miroslava was entering the film school. And she didn't want me to do that. And she told me, Ira, that is your film, but this is my life. Come on. And I realized that she's right, actually, because it's much more important to stay friends and to build our relationships than to get some footage and then to lose something much more important. So we had different situations and different challenges, but generally we were trying to do our best, and all my team, I mean me, cinematographer and sound designer, we really loved this family and we became friends with them, and I hope you can feel that.
Absolutely. And even though you didn't film the exams, you figured out a way to kind of still portray that aspect of the storyline.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
it
It was
just makes you challenge yourself and figure out a different way, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It was also some kind of the other way how to do that, and it really worked for us. So, but it was a very important lesson for me as a filmmaker.
What was something unexpected that happened during the filmmaking that you weren't expecting?
Uh, we had so many different moments when we had to decide what to do then, because you know it was really difficult to decide what kind of story are we going to tell the viewers. And when you shoot fiction, you know everything about your story and you can
Right.
control it. But documentary films are something really different. It's, I don't know, some living matter, and you should just follow it very carefully. And I really love that kind of moments when you don't have the other chance or second take, and you have only here and now, and you should catch that moments. And I love that things, but it's really difficult to remember now. What can I tell you more about
Well,
some unexpected moments?
I think everyone, you know, this is a film that takes place in a war zone, and you know, both you and the family and the crew are very brave. So, I mean, just even filming within that, you know, situation, there's a lot. It seems like there's a lot of, you know, you have to be ready at all times for the unexpected.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, when you are shooting in the war zone, you should be ready for different rules, and you should be very attentive and, I don't know, uh, how to explain. For example, that scene at the very beginning of the film, when you see that the bomb shell, it was shelling, yes, and the house of their neighbors was destroyed. This scene wasn't shot by us. It has been shot by other filmmakers. They were also the guests of this family 1 year before. And exactly the same day, the same night when they have arrived, it was a really big shelling. And you know, yes, sometimes it's really dangerous there. But at the same time, these people, I mean, our characters, they live there every day, and they have so many, I mean, they have so many dangerous situations there, but at the same time, they try to fight for the normality of their lives. And it was really important for me to feel what does it mean to live there. So we were trying to be ready for everything together with them.
I really loved some of the moments in the film when the main characters would share their knowledge of living in a war zone. And I know one of the daughters was talking about the shellings and like the sound of it, and how if it's coming towards you, it sounds like a, well, I think the way that she described it, when it was coming towards you or away from you, and how they knew that. And so obviously living that daily life, they've adapted and been able to figure out how to be resilient and how to, you know, protect themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you come there with your fresh eyes from some peaceful cities, of course, it's so, I don't know, I forgot this word in English. I'm losing my English now, sorry.
That's
But,
okay.
but I mean, it's really scary when you realize that all these children, they just grew up with that kind of knowledges. They know so many things about war, and they got used to it, and they don't pay any attention to some sounds of shellings, and they know very well what does sound how dangerous and what not. So yeah.
Well, I think you did a really great job in portraying that, so that it hit the audience, and we felt that for sure. And then at the same time in the film, I loved some of the more everyday moments, like when one of the young boys was trying to get his tooth out, and that was just such a great scene with the mom, and how she just like yanked it out, and the cats, and you know how they kind of had taken over the house. So we really felt like we were embedded in their home, and got to be part of that life.
I'm glad to know that, because we also loved these characters, and we hoped that you will love them as well.
And one of the other things that you focused on was the music that they made. Not only were they filmmakers, but they all played music. And I thought it was an interesting choice that it seemed like you didn't have a film score in the film, that you actually utilized the family's music. So can you talk a little bit about that, and at what point you decided to make that decision, and how that happened?
Yes, you're right, because when we've spent some time together with them and when we were observing them playing all that different kinds of musical instruments, and it was so funny when, for example, Nastya was playing Hello Adele on saxophone, and I mean, I realized later that we don't need some other music which could be done by professional composer, because all that music from this house is actually the best, I don't know, sound for us. So yeah.
So one of the other scenes that I always come back to is the very end of the film, when they go to show their film that they've made 2014, and the viewers of your film, The Earth is Blue as Orange, we get to see a small snippet of it, but the more what we really get to see is the reaction of the viewers watching 2014, which is just a fascinating way to end the film. So I'd like to for you to talk a little bit about like how you decided to not show, that 2014 and only show the reactions. And also in our jury session, we spoke about how this film is almost so special because you premiered it this year when we're all going through a pandemic when we're not able to be in a cinema and watch films together. And so watching it in that perspective, it's also extremely powerful and nostalgic that we all just want to get back to that. So if you can share some thoughts on that too.
That moment of the premiere for other inhabitants of the hometown was actually one of the strongest scenes during our filming, and we were trying to do it in editing in different ways. At first I actually used the film in the cut, but then we decided to change the way of editing. And as for me, it works much stronger when we don't see actually what are they watching, but we see only that crying and smiling. And something I did not use some of the moments that I saw with my own eyes when we were filming this premiere, because it was also one of that surreal moments when I was standing exactly, on the border between that screening hall and the other hall. And I was listening to the sounds of shelling in their film. And at the same time, I've heard some sounds of real shellings from outside. And all the sounds, it crossed each other. And it was really like you are staying between some parallel dimensions. But I decided not to use this thing in the film because maybe I did not have all that instruments to do that, because it was only the moment that I felt so strong. But maybe I left it behind the scenes. But I decided to share it with you to know how it was during the filming.
Wow, that's incredible. Thank you for sharing that. Let's see if I have some more questions.
I'm sorry that my English is not so good now. I don't know.
No,
Maybe
it's incredible.
I'm sorry, but
No, I want to, speaking on behalf of the audience, we are understanding everything and the feeling and the passion of all of your answers. So thank you so much.
I need more practice. When I will travel again, when I spend
some you're going to have a lot of opportunities to travel.
Yeah, when I spent some time with American viewers, it was such a good practice for me.
Yeah. Well, can you share a little bit about the film's funding and how you were able to get it completed? The budget and the funds to create it?
Yeah, from the very beginning, we got okay, one more time. From the very beginning, we got support from Ukrainian Film State Agency, But then we also found another partners because Lithuanian Film Center has decided to support us, and we've got 2 grants from ITFA Cinema Fund. So it was really cool that we got these chances because, of course, when you have some instruments to do your film, it's much easier because it's, oh, you know, all that kind of things. And all of us, I mean, documentary filmmakers need some money actually to do that. So we were really happy to get the support. And actually, also it was really useful that we've take part in different workshops, because I've never studied for documentary filmmaker, and it was a big, I don't know, educational support for me, because, for example, we were the participants of Incubator workshop. If you know that, it's one of the most I'm sorry, I forgot this.
No, it's a very well known.
Yeah. So you know it. That's okay. So I mean, yes, we've got this different kind of support, and also from different tutors and our colleagues, and it was also really cool.
That's really great. And you totally hit it. Like documentaries, it's such a different field, and how you navigate it and create your film. So it seems like you had a lot of partners and collaborators that helped you along the way.
Yeah, that's important, to feel the shoulder of some shoulders of some friends and colleagues that can support you. And actually, I really feel that community of documentary filmmakers, not only in Ukraine, but also around Europe and the US now. So that's really cool.
Can you share a little bit about the title of the film, The Earth is Blue as Orange, which I think was inspired by a French poem?
I need to take my recharge because
no problem.
my computer is dying. I'm sorry.
While we take this break, everyone, if you can tag us at Tallgrass Film 2020, at Tallgrass Film, and hashtag Tallgrass 2020 if you're enjoying this conversation.
I just realized that you are not going to edit our conversation yet.
That's totally okay.
But that's okay. I'm sorry, what was the question? Can you repeat it?
The title of the film, The Earth is Blue.
Yeah.
And I know it stems from a French poem, right?
Yeah, that is a quote of the poem of Paul Éluard, and that is a well-known example of surrealism in art. And you know, I found that decision when I was coming again and again to Donbass, and I felt that reality, I mean, of people who live there, seems really surreal for me, because you feel that crossings of parallel dimensions of war and peace there just on every step. And we had so many weird situations. For example, when I just came to one of that cinema camps for children, we had the moment when we were screening some pieces from Bertolucci's movies to these teens, and at the same time we've heard the sounds of shellings from outside, and all these children, they did not pay any attention to it, but it was so weird for us. And then we had so many similar moments. For example, it was the same with our family, I mean with our characters, when they were watching some films, and at the same time we were listening to these sounds of war, because it's like something normal for them. And when you come there again and again, you also get used to these sounds. Every morning, every evening, you are listening to that shellings. And also, I don't know, it is some strange, weird poetry in all that things. When, for example, these girls were taking pictures in front of the bombed school after the school ball, and you see all that military trucks behind them. So I was trying to find some special, I don't know, title, some special formula that could convey that sense of surreality. And then I found this quote.
Wow. I ended up reading the poem. It's very powerful, and audience members, if you have a chance, you should definitely read it as well. So what's next for you? You mentioned you're in the middle of a new film. We'd love to hear more about it.
Yeah, and that is again a really huge challenge for me, because this is my first full-length fiction film, and I'm shooting it right now. So I'm so tired today just because I had shootings yesterday. And that is a coming of age story about the boy who grows up in 90s in one of provincial Ukrainian cities. And this film is based on the novel of Ukrainian writer and my husband. So I know this material quite well. And I hope it will be really impressive story, because it's about the boy and his family and his friends, but at the same time it's a really interesting line there about his friendship with his grandmother's boyfriend. He was a veteran of Afghan war, and he had actually PTSD, and he was a really traumatized person, but at the same time, he was so charismatic and interesting. He loved classical music and different really interesting things. So I hope we will shoot something interesting for you.
It sounds really interesting. Is this your first collaboration with your husband?
Yeah.
Wow.
That is also some weird experience, because now he works as a script supervisor together with me on the set, and that is the first time when we work together. And I'm joking that when we were teens, we did not know each other, but now we have a chance that him in the childhood and me in the childhood can meet in this dimension of our film.
Wow, that's incredible. And I understand that he was a Ukrainian soldier at one point, right? So it seems like
true.
War is often a theme for you guys in your work. Can you talk a little bit about that and how war has really influenced you, your lives, and your work?
Oh, that's some kind of a long conversation, but yes, the war is going on for the 7th year in Ukraine now, and it's also some kind of huge surreal experience for all of us, because I've never expected that I will be waiting for my husband when he was serving as a soldier during this war. And this film that I'm shooting now, it's also about this team, because when he was a child, he really hated all militaries because of that friendship with a veteran with PTSD, and he had never imagined that he will become a soldier too. And that's a very strange period of our lives, but at the same time, it's really I don't know how to explain, but it's really strange that all of us, we got used to live in that kind of conditions, and we try to reflect somehow about it, because our children, they grow up in this I don't know, war situation, and that is also some really long and special conversation about this, because I'm observing my own child. He's 10 now, and he also feels as the war is something really normal, and that is really terrible, to be honest.
Absolutely, yes. Well, thank you so much for sharing these stories and your work. And The Earth is Blue as Orange definitely portrays that. And it really conveys to audience members the true devastation of that, but also the resilience that the family has as well, which is absolutely incredible. Do you have a name of the film project you're now working on so everyone can be on the lookout for it?
Yeah, it's kind of funny again. The title of my new film is Rock, Scissors, Grenade.
Oh my gosh, that's so great. Well, everyone will remember that. And that is set to premiere in next year, the year after?
I hope so, yes, because we are going to finish shootings this year, and then we will have post-production. But yeah, I hope the premiere will be next year. And I hope for some offline screenings, not
Yes.
this.
Hopefully
Yeah.
we can all be in cinemas and theaters together and get to celebrate your work. Well, thank you so much.
Yes, please.
Is there anything else that you want to share with the audience that we didn't really get to? Oh no, did you break up?
I lost
Oh, there you are.
the connection. Yeah, maybe the
Perfect.
connection is not really good, but I just want to wish you to enjoy screenings, to enjoy films, despite all the circumstances, despite all this, I don't know, online conditions. But anyway, we have a chance to meet each other, to meet different people through these stories, through documentary. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Irina. It was so wonderful to have this conversation with you. And I'm so excited for the audience members at Tallgrass Film Festival to be able to share this experience with us as well. Thank you so much. Have a great evening. And I will start my day now in Los Angeles.
Thank you. Thank you and bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Again, we just want to thank all of our guests for joining us, and we hope you have a great rest of the festival. Thank you so much.